Hi, and thank you for joining me. Welcome back. So today is a review that I have really been looking forward to for quite some time. It's the latest in the run of Analogue Productions UHQR releases, latest in the run of UHQR Steely Dan releases, and of course it is their I'm sure their most successful album of all time, Asia. Now this was 1977 release, recorded at the Village Recorder and produced by Gary Katz. And what I just want to talk about is basically just how damned good, spoiler alert, how damn good this UHQR is. So here we've got a US, it's not an original, this is a 1980 repressing on MCA. Obviously the original was 1977, but this is frankly you'd have to go some to find a copy of this album that didn't sound any good. But anyway, this is a 1980 US repressing, so if you call that like the vanilla issue, nothing special, but when I say nothing special, as I say, it sounds phenomenal. It's incredibly well. Well, I think let's start from the beginning. It's incredibly well composed. It's fantastic music. It's incredibly well performed. I mean, just second to none performances, and the production, the recording and the production, as I say, by Gary Katz at the Village Recorder, is just is legendary. And this original pressing, this early US pressing, I'm sure the same with the early UKs, pretty much any sort of original pressing that you might get. It's dynamic, it's snappy, the timing is phenomenal. And this is all really reflection on the music, but the point is the recording, the production, the engineering, the mastering, nothing got in the way. So it's snappy, it's groovy, it swings, it just sounds fantastic. And if this has a kind of a trademark colour to it, this original, I would say it's just like velvety smooth, but snappy and swinging and punchy. Okay, that's kind of how I would describe this. Now, as I say, this is actually a 1980 pressing, and I've got another 1980 pressing, which for, well, what are we talking now, 40 odd years has been my go-to copy. And this is the original master recording, the MOFI super special release, if you like. And for many, many years, this will have been the best one you could get. And this is all analog, of course, unlike modern day MOFIs. Pressed on really lovely vinyl in Japan, a really beautiful copy and a beautiful sounding record. Now, how does this differ to the original that I just showed you? I would say it's sort of it's lifted at the top. There's more light in it. There's much more kind of space in the vocal. The top end sort of, there's more air, there's more sort of shine and sparkle and separation and detail. And of course, it is such an amazing recording that really, to my ears, it's significantly better than this. Where it doesn't really improve upon the original, I would say, is in the bass end. Now, the bass end, it's just, I think the bass and the drums kind of drive these records, and they're just, it's kind of, it's just sort of just enough. It's not flashy, it's not overdone, it's kind of just enough, or like the perfect blend, however you want to wax lyrical about it. So I'd say they're sort of equal on the bottom ends, these two. Really, it's the bass and the drums that kind of contributes to that that incredible kind of snap and swing and boogie, and the phenomenal sort of rhythm of this amazing record. The MOFI for me massively sort of opens out the vocal area, the top end. So it's that vocal track is I would say it's just you kind of get the impression there's just a little bit of sort of singing like this. And I almost feel that it's like they haven't got a huge amount of confidence in their ability as singers. They're not kind of Barbra Streisands or Bing Crosby's, and so they kind of just there's a lot of reverb and sort of it's not. I wouldn't say that the vocal quality. Forget the lyrics; that's a different matter. But I wouldn't say the vocal quality is Steely Dan's sort of gold card kind of aspect, if you like. But it has. I'm not one for your Celine Dion's and your sort of Mariah Carey's and sort of vocal kind of that leaves me absolutely stone cold. I'd rather listen to Gabriel or Nick Cave or Bob Dylan or than any of these textbook vocalists. Anyway, then we get onto this, and as you know, we've been through this before. They come exquisitely packaged. This is made from the original master tapes by all analog by Bernie Grundman, and what you get in here is quite a bit. So we'll just ignore the advertising mailers and the technical spec sheet, the signature, the signed sort of limited edition certificate, if you like. There's the new version of the cover, which is just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Really, 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 really beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Numbered copy here, 2812 of 2,812. And then we've got some liner notes written in the modern day by Donald Fagan. We've got photos of the original master tape boxes. As you can see, Village Recorder. Really, really, really interesting. And credits for each of the tracks. And it's one of the things about this, it's just done so well. I mean, you've got quite famously you've got different drummers here. I mean, Black Cow, Paul Humphrey drums, Asia, Steve Gadd drums, Deacon Blues, Bernard Purdie drums, Peg, Rick Marotta drums, Home at Last, Bernard Purdie again, I Got the News, Ed Green, and then Josie, Jim Keltner. So, I mean, how many is that? There's only one track where you've got, Bernard Purdie's the only track where, he plays two different songs. It's dripping with talent. Anyway, you get this very nice sheet, and then you get a lyric sheet, which you get in the originals and the MOFI and all that too. And then the two very, very, very beautifully produced and pressed on Clarity Vinyl records, and of course these are at 45 RPM. Now, what you're all waiting to hear, how does this sound compared with those other two? And this is where it really gets just quite something. So if you remember, I said that the MOFI sounded notably better than the original, in my opinion, through the sort of the vocal ranges and sort of upper mid treble kind of area. So the top end of the spectrum. And how does this sound different to either of the original, the original or the MOFI? Right. Okay. So in the areas where the MOFI sounded better, so in the vocal area, the sort of the upper mid, separation of the sort of keyboards and percussive elements and all those sort of things. This is in a different league. It is in an absolutely altogether different league. But it's not, it really is not just that. Where I said the original two, I'll just pop that there. Where I said the original two were quite similar in the bottom end. This one is just, it carries that extra openness and dynamic and detail and expression right down to the bass. And it's very, very even from top to bottom. And just, it really is more than you can imagine better than either. It's at least up there with the best of the UHQRs relative to the original pressings. This is the thing about this. I would say compared with any of the previous UHQR Steely Dan offerings, this one just blows them away. It really does. And it blows away the original and previous audiophile reissues, absolutely blows them away. And then if you consider that, even an original regular Asia is a sublime sounding record. And then you think this is like probably the biggest jump over that of any of the ones so far. It is absolutely something else. The White Stripes Elephant actually is in a similar league to this in terms of how much better than it sounds over the original issues. So yeah, this isn't sort of stand out in a way head and shoulders above other UHQRs, but it is not overshadowed by other UHQRs, and there is not one molecule of disappointment in it over what you would expect. If you know Asia, I'm sure most of you do know the album. It's a fantastic album, very, very, very jazzy, very snappy, very boogie-ish, very swinging, just phenomenally slick and cool, and beautiful sounding, like warm, velvety, but dynamic. This is in, dynamically, it's like, I don't know, if you could quantify the dynamic range in decibels or something, or numbers out of 10. If this is 5 out of 10, and this was 6 out of 10 dynamically, this is 10, 11 or 12 out of 10. It's if 10 is the most you could expect, then this is 12, because it is beyond expectation. It's phenomenal. And you just get that extra layering and the extra detail and the extra sort of expression and emotion and feeling in there. And it is not brighter in a bright, nasty way, but it's so much more illuminated. You can see into it, but the light is a beautiful colour. It's not harsh or artificial or clinical. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And I've got to say, $150, it's it really, really, really is stunning. Absolutely 100% thoroughly recommended. I don't believe anyone could buy this and play it and not be absolutely knocked out. So on that note, thank you very, very, very much for joining me. And if you want the ultimate copy of Asia, buy it. If you don't know the album, there's no reason for me to keep these. I'll be going on the second-hand market. Maybe now is a good time to pick up a different version, because it is such a good album. It doesn't. I'm sure it probably maybe early digital and late 80s vinyl pressings and the like will be pretty ropey or harsh or bright or thin, but this is just stunning. Okay, I say thank you for watching, and thank you to all my new subscribers. If you haven't done already, please give me a like and subscribe and I will see you all again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye now. Bye.